Hey everybody, it's Amanda Radke back for another episode of the Heart of Rural America podcast, the show where we highlight great people doing amazing things in rural America to strengthen the agricultural community we love and to support their families and to build their dreams on the land. And today I have two very special guests. It is leading up to a big week at Reverse RRR Ranch in Maxwell, New Mexico. And so at the helm of the ranch is Trent and Garrett Earl, who are getting ready for sale week. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks for having us.
So, you guys just wrapped up getting all the video lots done, and it's kind of crunch time leading up to the sale. I guess before we dive into the offering that you guys will be having available for folks, tell us a little bit about the history of the ranch. You guys aren't from around New Mexico originally. So tell us your story.
So we grew up in Yorkville, Illinois on a place called Sunny Valley Farm. My dad, Chris Earl, managed it for, I think, somewhere around 20 years. And, so from a young age, we were always around cattle and farming. And so that was kind of our roots. And then we came out here to New Mexico in July of 2015, and been rocking and rolling here ever since. So I think we're going on 9 years now, and every day kind of brings in something new that we haven't experienced before. So
yeah, Trent came out here at the beginning. He's been here from the onset, summer of 2015. I came out the next summer, but coming from Illinois, and then that Sunny Valley dispersed, and our dad, he didn't want to uproot us right then. We were all in school and stuff, but he always had a dream of coming out west. So he kind of started the consulting deal, kind of in that time frame there. So he didn't have to move us away. And then luckily he found this place in 2015 and was able to make the dream happen. And we've just been rocking and rolling since then. So
you guys are a strong Catholic family, athletes growing up in corn country of Illinois, and moved to the middle of nowhere, New Mexico. How old were you guys when you moved out?
Oh, so 2015, I would have been 25.
Okay.
I would have been 25 when I moved here, and
I think I turned 23 out here the first year I was here. So I was like 22. So when I moved out, I came right down from school up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I kind of got done there and came down here in May of 2015. So like 22.
You can claim that South Dakota residency for a little bit anyway. Great place to live.
Yeah, I liked my time up there. Yeah, I enjoyed Sioux Falls for sure. I like to go back once in a while.
You probably don't miss the snow though.
No, that's what's nice about New Mexico is the lack of a harsh winter.
I could stand to have a little more snow, but
Now, your wife Emily, did you meet her before you moved down to the ranch?
Yes, yeah, I met her. Actually, that's funny. I met her 6 months before I moved to the ranch.
Perfect timing.
So yeah, the first date we ever went on, I told her that I'm moving in 6 months, so we can either keep this going or we can just stop now. So
a little more history to the ranch too, where so it'd be our great grandpa. We never actually really met him, but so our dad's grandpa, he had a horse ranch down at the Arizona Mexico border, and they would go down there all the time as kids and visit them, and they actually came through this area quite a bit. Our grandpa actually loves the town of Springer, New Mexico. It was like one of his favorite towns. It's just down the interstate.
Yeah, it's 11 miles.
It's kind of a tie-in. They were familiar with the area, so it wasn't completely out of the blue to come to this part of the country, but it was kind of a big move too. So
pretty big leap, yeah. But the seed was planted, and obviously that love of the wide open space and kind of getting to be independent on your own. I have had the pleasure of going down to the ranch and visiting it, and I'll be down at the sale as well. But it's there's like a shift that happens. I feel like you get out there and it's just like the rest of the world kind of disappears, and it's like in the best way possible. But you can't decide if it's like if you're on the moon or something. It's just like very vast, very beautiful. But challenging.
Well, we've used the slogan over the years that it's where the it's where the grasslands meet the Rockies, and it's because we're 15 miles from the base of the Rocky Mountains. And then, we actually sit at elevation. It's one of the unique things about our ranch. And then, but you go an hour to the east of us and you drop 2,000 feet, so you're basically in the flats again. So it's a really unique location. And actually back in the day, they used to bring the cattle through here on the Santa Fe Trail.
Oh, wow. A
So,
lot of history there then. And
yeah.
Yeah, you talk about challenges. That's probably what Trent mentioned is especially when we first came out here, obviously being from Illinois and all that, the elevation was probably, our biggest challenge. And it still is a big challenge for us and something we have to, we're constantly focusing on when it comes to breeding decisions and all that. We have customers that are higher than us, but we probably for the summer or, a few months out of the year. So, we're only at 6,000 feet, which isn't as high as a lot of people go, but we're here all year round. So the calves are born and raised here at the same elevation. So that's probably been our big challenge, but we've gotten way better at it over the years. And I think it kind of gives us an advantage at the same time if that makes sense. So.
no, it definitely. And your dad has said, if the cattle can do well where you guys are, they'll do
Yeah.
well anywhere. And
Yeah.
I mean, that was true for us. We loaded up a trailer load and brought them up to South Dakota. And I don't think they'd ever seen green grass before, you guys. You're in
Probably
such a
not.
drought.
Well, after the last 3 years, yeah, it was the first few years we came out were really good, and then last couple years we had a couple little rough spot when it came to moisture, so we just had to get through it. But yeah, I'm sure once they got to a place like South Dakota, they were like, whoa, what's this going on, huh?
Yeah. Well, they honestly just exploded. They look
Yeah.
in the best way. They look gorgeous. I mean, they filled
Yeah.
out
So
and they're just
it's
fat
actually
and
one of the things that we hear quite a bit from customers across the country. Because we, on average, I think we send cattle to about 14 or 15 different states every year. And one of the big things we get back is that it's just amazing how much they just the body capacity and everything that they just do. They exactly that. They basically explode in a good way.
Yeah.
When they get to grass that's got sugar and all that good stuff.
It
So
seems to be that we tend to have a harder ground, harder grass,
Yeah.
and then when they go to other places, they kind of seem to fluff out a little bit more, and it turns out
Yeah.
good. So
Well, talk a little bit about your breeding philosophy. Like you said, you have to focus on the heart health, the PAP scores,
Yeah.
all the things to really thrive in this tough country. What does that look like for you guys when you're making your selection pressures on these
Uh,
cattle?
so it limits our bull selection from about probably 50 to 60% of bulls out there to like 5% of bulls out there. One thing that we do look at a little bit is we do somewhat take the PAP EPD into account. It's not a perfect EPD. It's a decent indication of what may work and what not. We actually do physical testing here on the ranch. So we've kind of matched up our scores with the EPDs and kind of seen some trends. But it does allow us to be able to maybe venture out into some genetics that, when we first bought the ranch, you were just taking a blind shot.
Yeah.
That, okay, we're going to try this bull. And, there was times where it didn't work. And those were some painful times when you go out there and you just see cattle struggling because what PAP does is that essentially it gets the heart doesn't pause. It just keeps pushing, and then it pushes the fluid through the capillaries, which then gets into their chest cavity and their bellies and stuff, and it puts pressure on the lungs, and it basically their heart either just full out explodes or the fluid crushes their lungs. So it's 100% something that we have to pay attention to. But it makes our bull choices extremely limited. There's especially going into our 9th year now. We've experienced certain genetic lines that you cannot use here. Now that doesn't mean that we still don't try it. We do still try it. We do take our risks. But some of that is because we still want to be competitive on the national level. So we're not just going to confine ourselves to what might specifically work here. As I said before, we do send cattle nationally. So we do focus on using genetics that are being used nationally, and we also want to be on the forefront of the genetics. So we use a lot of stuff here that probably hasn't quite hit the popular end of things yet. So we there's a lot of bulls and stuff that we'll use maybe a year or 2 years before they become popular. Or something like that, or even maybe sometimes the opposite, where we might go back and use a bull that maybe was popular a year or so ago because of some new developments or something in that bull's lineage. So it's just, there's a lot of things to look at, and but one of the things we do focus on is kind of trying to be on the forefront, being different. We try not to be in the realm of just having the same thing that everybody else has. So we really want to be on the forefront and cutting edge of genetics.
So you guys have a passion for the Angus breed, and you like to be competitive. You like to be at the forefront of a lot of things, and you've put together a sale here coming up on December 2nd. It'll also be on DVAuction. 120 or close to 120 bulls, 75 females, some embryo packages. I guess what sire lines or what are you particularly excited about with this year's offering?
Well, I think it's probably easy to go with the popular answer of Deadwood, just because we got so many of them. There's probably the dominant sire of our offering, but we are really excited on him just on how they look. But I'd say between him and the Papa Bull that we have, we've used them really heavy. We got some good whitewaters that are coming out of a full sister to alternative that we're excited about. But I'd say between the Deadwoods and the Papas, I mean, they've really kind of dominated the offering. I'd say most of our top bulls between those two, have been those, and we're really excited about them. They move well, they're athletic, they're muscled up, and honestly, we're ready to get them out of here quicker than later because I think they're ready to start breeding stuff too. They want to get out of the pen more than they want to stay in, which is a good thing. So, but no, yeah, between those two groups, and then I want to mention the whitewaters again too. We got a lot of good looking whitewaters that we're excited about coming in this offering too. So I'd say between those three, the Deadwoods and the Papas and the whitewaters, are three of the sire groups we're probably most excited about.
Would you concur, or do you guys disagree sometimes, Trent?
Oh, no, I mean, we disagree quite, I'd say quite a bit, but we agree a lot. I mean, he pretty much hit it on the head. Deadwood probably dominates our offering right now. But like you said, like, we're really high on the Haynes Papa Bull. He's an excellent PAP qualifier for us. I think he's got like 17 animals or something in the sale. 16 of them have qualified for elevation, which is outstanding for us. And then they match it body type wise as well. Phenotypically they look good. They're not sometimes your typical like Pat bull where they're, a lot of times the Pat bulls can get a knock on them because they might be the lower end of your bulls or something, but we feel like we can still push carcass and have them run here at elevation as well. And then, like you said, the whitewaters, we have a tremendous set of whitewater brothers out of Alternative's full sister. They move like cats. They're big, massive bulls. They're going to go out and cover well for people. And then a group I want to mention, Plus Rawhide. We have sons out of him again. Rawhide's been a staple in our program for probably the last 2 to 3 years. He does a tremendous job for us, bringing moderation and depth of body and muscling to our bulls and our females. And he's done an excellent job for us. So we have another tremendous set of rawhides as well.
So looking at sale day, what can people expect if they've never been out to the ranch before? I mean, of course, people can go online and bid over the phone or online. You guys have free nationwide delivery, but I guess when can folks start viewing the cattle and when do you kind of start gathering, I guess?
So as far as cattle going over to the sale facility, which is on the ranch, it's just a mile east of the headquarters or a mile and a half. We take them over the day before the sale. So they are able to get viewed anytime that day.
Once viewed anytime.
Yeah, but in general, if you're passing by and you want to stop through, we'll go through the bulls with you. If we're not available, we'll let you go through the bulls on your own accord.
They're just here.
They're here.
Main headquarters, kind of behind the house, so they're always ready for view anytime in the next couple weeks for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we'll take them before the sale, and then on sale day itself, I mean, they're just everything pretty normal setup. They'll be all penned up, on the west side of our sale barn. We'll have all the bulls, females, any donors that we're selling donor lots on will be over there, and then we'll offer a meal, at noon before the sale, and just anybody that wants to come out and come view some cattle and have free food, and just hopefully enjoy a nice day. So
some windy ones, but I don't know what the forecast says for this one, but hopefully it's a nice one.
We've had some rough ones, but no, usually they actually turn out pretty good. But so just a pretty normal setup, and just like to invite anybody that wants to come out. We're glad to have them. So.
And you guys have gotten some rain this year. I probably will never forget. I had reached out to your brother Jeff, who does all the great photography work for the catalog that people see online. And it was the middle of the winter, and I had started carrying Ariat on my website. And I reached out to him and said, "Hey, I got to get out of here. I got to head south. Let's go do a photo shoot on the ranch." I figured it'd be beautiful scenery and high ground and no mud or snow to contend with. And the day I get down there, it snows, and I'll probably never forget it. It was a muddy mess and cold and windy, but
we'll have to make more trips down because we'll take more of it whenever we
brought it all with us. Yeah.
Right. It seems like it usually takes people from wet states coming here, and they bring it with them, and then it leaves as soon as they do. So
we were pretty blessed this year. I mean, it seems out here, I mean, you can get it, your neighbors can't, or your neighbors can get it and you can't. So you don't really complain about when it comes or how it comes. You take it when it does, and you're grateful that it did. And we had a really good year this year, actually. I mean, we had more water, here than we probably had since the first couple of years we got out here. So we couldn't be happier with how this year's turned out. So it was good.
That's a nice relief, much needed for guys. We're in a massive dispersal nationwide right now. It seems like the rancher is aging. Average age is old, and the prices are good, and it feed's expensive. So it seems like it's a good time to exit stage right and call it quits. What are you guys seeing? I mean, it feels like everybody's getting out, and I mean, you guys are probably a lot like me. Like, you're going all in even harder and buying more cattle and trying to grow and expand and be competitive on a national level. What keeps you guys going when everybody else is kind of freaking out and just ditching this thing? It's a hard business. So I guess what keeps you going?
Well, for me, I mean, I just don't know if I could really do anything else, to be honest. I mean, I've tried the 9-to-5 job. It's not really for me. It's I'd probably get, if I was just a commercial cattleman, I think I'd get bored out of my mind. So it's just always having something that, like for instance here, right now we calve kind of year round. So it's just a constant, you're constantly having to be checking on cows calving or processing calves, and then, making sure everything's on time to be ready for your sale, because sale prep doesn't just start in, September, October, for our sale in December. It really starts from the time we wean the calves.
Yeah.
So that, we have a plan. We have a plan for those calves to grow them out so that we make sure they're ready for our customers by the time they come here to look at them and view at them. And so there's just, it's just always something. And actually this year we had finally had irrigation water. So we threw making hay in on top of everything. And so it just kept us hopping. But
well, I think kind of on the opposite of what you were saying, like everybody getting out, I kind of look at it like the opposite way of that's, more opportunity for somebody that's younger, as everybody's getting out, nobody's getting in. So I kind of see it as more opportunity for us. And then on the same point, just what we've done since we've been out here, just, seeing how much we've improved, the relationships we've built with our customers, with just everybody else in the registered business, just the success that we've seen that we can have, it only wants to make you do more. And then on the same point, I think we're just competitive, and I think we're always going to be competitive. And there's no sports for us anymore. We're past that point. So, this gives us a way to be able to compete, and not like it's a friendly competition. We know so many people in the business. It's not like that type of deal, but you can still stack yourself up and compare everything. And I think all of us in our family have always, whether we like to admit it or not, we like a challenge, and we like to prove that we can defeat that challenge. So I think that always kind of drives us too. Is I don't think any of us have ever been. We weren't ever allowed to be quitters, and that was the best thing. I think that probably one of the best things we could have as kids is we weren't allowed to quit. And there's no really quit in us. So there's no other way we know. We wouldn't know any other way than just to kind of keep going forward and try to make it as best as we can for us and everybody that wants to be a part of it. So
Yeah, and I think on that competitive level, for me, it's more about like beating myself. It's like
sure,
there's this challenge of, okay, I've got the environment I've got to contend with. If you're in the cattle business, something is always going wrong. Cattle are
100%.
busting something, or something's sick, or you've got to get something through the chute, or it's just there's always something. And then but I think when you have that drive and that passion, I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't feel like work, even though your whole life revolves around these cattle. It's like you love to do it, and it's this awesome challenge that you can't ever overcome it all, because the next day brings a whole new set of challenges and
Right.
right.
unexpected hurdles. So it's kind of, yeah, it's a fun game. But if you pop your head up and look around once in a while at how the rest of the world lives, it's like, oh, like people have like normal lives where they like check out of their job at 5 p.m. and they, can chill on the couch and
Um,
hang out. And you're probably worried about cattle, or worried about what you have to do the next day, or what didn't get done today. So I think, talking to your dad, he does 130,000 miles on the road with CK6, and heck, there's a sale getting ready to start here in just a few minutes that he's got to deal with, or help oversee. But in his conversations with me, he's like, the rubber meets the road at home, that he could have the best ideas of things he's seeing on the road and things he'd like to execute on the ranch, but he can't do it without you guys just following through. And yet in just general society, we hear that young people or millennials don't want to work, and we don't want to like get after it, but probably not in the people and the people you interact with, like the hard physical part of it. What do you see the future is? Do people want to do this way of life, or is it just going to be a few of us?
So that's kind of a hard one. Unfortunately, in our area, one of the things that is creeping in is kind of the yearling market. A lot of guys are transitioning from running cows to running yearlings because it's a little easier because they can't find help.
Sure.
Um, you know, uh, Unfortunately, I mean, a lot of it has to go back to, we live in a state where 65% of the state collects a welfare check. Um, so we're actually per capita the number one state in the country for welfare per 100,000 people. So trying to find people to help you out is a very, very, very tough task. Now there is people out there, you constantly come across young people that are trying to get into the business. One of the other challenges is finding banks to work with you. Not a lot of banks out there are willing to lend on cattle. Now that may change in the future with cattle numbers being low and continuing to get low. The market should respond accordingly and start going up, and maybe that'll change some minds, but it's definitely something that you have to have a mindset to do it. If you don't love what you're doing, you're not going to last in this business very long, whether you're a commercial cattleman or a registered cattleman. Either way, you have to love being out there on a Sunday taking care of a calf if it needs taken care of, or being out there at 10 o'clock at night, doing something that you probably don't want to be doing, but no one else is doing it, so you have to. And I think there's still people out there that have that mentality. A lot of our customers have that mentality. Like Garrett said, we've worked very hard to try and build good relationships with them, and hopefully we answer their questions and do whatever we can for them as best we can. And at the end of the day, it's the people relationships that really matter. Just like the everyday stuff, if you don't have relationships with the people out there, you're not going to go very far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's interesting. I don't know if I have too many. I just think if you're not willing to, if you don't really love it and aren't willing to really fight for it, it's kind of up in the air, I think, to see what the future is, because it's just like we've been talking about. There's so many more people getting out than it seems getting in. So I think it's just more of a reason, just kind of take advantage of the now, capitalize on what's going on right now and work as hard as we can to set up, to establish whatever we can to set us up for later, for whatever does happen. I like to be optimistic and think that people our age will want to, work hard and continue this going, but we'll see if that's the actual reality.
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, I think there's a lot of people hungry to get in, but maybe they don't have, the generational ties, or just not quite sure how to get started. And yet every day I'm meeting people that are first generation that are wildly successful because they don't have any preconceived notions about how it's supposed to go.
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
they're able to create these new pathways to profitability. But I think it does go back to people, whether it's connecting with your customers and serving and delivering on what they need, or networking like, hey, I'm a young person. I don't have much to offer except for, sweat equity and a willingness to bust my tail to help grow something. But if you meet the right person that doesn't want to see their lifetime of work just loaded up on a trailer and headed to the sale barn, there might be some great opportunities, I think, for young people
100%.
if you're networking and going to sales or going to conferences and just shaking the right hands. So I guess, do you have any advice for young people? I mean, you guys got started ranching at a young age, right out of the gate. Trent, you had mentioned, a painful lesson, learning how to select the right cattle for the environment you're in. And that's the thing in the cattle business. Every decision you make is so costly if it's the wrong one. It's like,
Yes.
oh, you just beat yourself up. So I
Yeah.
guess, how do you approach some of those big decisions that can either move your business forward well, or just send you backpedaling in a fit of just frustration?
Well, hopefully you diversify enough that that one bad decision can be overcome by hopefully a couple good ones, and but otherwise you just buckle down and you get through it, and you got to be able to change gears on the fly. I feel like, and everybody in this business knows that the plan you started with in the morning generally probably isn't what wind up happening that day. So,
Pretty much.
it's just, like you said, it's a hard business. Things go wrong. It's about the only guarantee to it. And you just got to be able to overcome and adapt and learn. And then, the biggest thing is just learning from the past mistakes you made, and hopefully improving on that the next time, so that you don't do it twice. That's the biggest thing. As far as young people getting in, I think you mentioned it earlier, sweat equity. is probably the biggest thing is
especially, like, I could say, like, for me, like, I didn't know much. Like, Trent was always this was his passion from the moment, he started walking. I was like, we talked earlier, we were all sports, but I was a sports guy. So, I mean, I guess for me, just getting in and doing it every day. I mean, I came in kind of with a blank slate, and just everything I've learned is just from just working every day, just whatever needs to be done, whether we're setting up for a flush or vaccinating calves, or it's calving season, we're feeding or whatever, just kind of throwing yourself in there. I like to ask a lot of questions. I don't know if that's the best advice for everybody. I like to ask questions, and just being observant and learning, but just doing it every day, because our dad says all the time, he's still learning stuff 30 years in. He still sees stuff that you're like, man, I haven't seen that before. So just being in it as much as you can. And then, just having kind of the patience and confidence that what you're doing is the right thing, and you keep putting in the work and it'll pay off for you. So we like to
did you
look at
guys have a lot of interesting conversations on top of pivots at 2:30 in the morning this summer?
I don't know if they're interesting conversations, but
we like to think we have interesting conversations out here. I don't know if everybody else thinks they're interesting, but we keep ourselves entertained.
I'd say they're probably lively conversations.
Yeah. They're probably not safe for this family program, I would guess.
Every once in a while they're not. Yeah, they can get a little heated. But for the most part, it's really good.
That's what keeps you from getting too cocky, though. It can humble you really quick.
Oh yeah. You get humbled in a hurry.
We got to learn that real quick. Yeah, in our family, with all 6 of us kids, you got that was kind of a rule in our house. You had to be able to laugh at yourself, because you were gonna get it a little bit. So.
Oh. Well, sometimes these cattle are so stupid. It's like example, we're fall calving right now, and Tyler found a calf that was a little slow going, so he drags the calf in the barn with the cow, and the cow doesn't seem too interested. Whatever, it goes out a few hours later, finds a twin in a totally different spot. So he drags the twin in. Well, of course, she loves the free Martin heifer, won't take the good bull. So we're in like a 2-week fight with this stupid cow. And I'm like, can you just do the right thing here? Just love this bull calf, because
every year for sure.
pretty much. Or the time he's out delivering cattle, and I'm getting ready for a speech in town, and I get a call that all of our weaned calves, this was just last week, busted the panel right by the electric water, and like we're running down the road, and I'm like, oh great. So I was
nice about being in the middle of nowhere. Back when we were in Illinois, my dad would get a call like the cows are on the this busy interstate, there's cars flying by. Here it's just like, well, they're on our gravel road that nobody's driving down. I think they'll be all right. Yeah. It'll be okay.
All right, tell the story about the bear. This is like very unique to you guys. I'll never have to worry about this. The bear
in kind of the heart of the drought there, all the lakes around here dried up, so the bears really weren't, normally they'd be eating. Well, actually, all the fish floated to the top, or were sitting on the bank. So the bears were coming down to eat the fish. We had corn sitting in our shop, and they decided they liked the corn. So we set up a trail camera, and caught it on camera. We caught 2 of them. Actually. We caught 2 of them. We caught the cub and the mother. Yeah. And the mother was probably the size of our mini excavator when she was standing up. But we caught them with stale donuts. That's how they caught them. So
the wildlife is we get a lot of wildlife out here, between the bears, elk, birds. We feed, but besides bulls, sometimes we feel like we're almost a bird feeding operation. We get a lot of those around here, but
geese and sandhill cranes.
Yeah.
Then you got crazy politicians down there that want to take your guns and do all kinds of crazy things, but I think
only in New Mexico, I guess, can someone decide that the Constitution, just doesn't matter, apparently.
That could be a whole part 2 episode, couldn't it?
Well, good.
Yeah. Those are those interesting conversations I was talking about that we like to have around here every once in a while.
We'll schedule that part of the conversation around the cooler after the sale on December.
There you go.
Like a plan.
Well, with 1 minute left, I guess, guys, I want to thank you for coming on. But anything you want to mention about where folks can get information on the sale or follow you for more information?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook, Reverse Rocking Our Ranch. We post updates to that anytime there's an update. You can find our catalog on angus.org as well as DVAuction. The videos are all up, and yes, we also have a website. What is it? Reverse Rocking Our. Yeah, reverserockingar.com.
Okay.
And we post updates to that as well. Our phone numbers are listed everywhere. You're more than welcome to call us or text us at any time. And we always do our best to try and get back to you and answer your questions as best we can.
Well, I think it's going to be worth the trip, and I'd like to invite everybody down there. We're headed down from South Dakota and looking forward to a little getaway, Tyler and I. So we'll see you guys in just a few short days, and good luck with the sale.
Sounds great. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yep. Look forward to having you down. Thanks for having us.
Wonderful.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Vanna.